To start off with the construction of my short film, I looked at other already existing ones on the internet using YouTube. I came across the channel Virgin Media Shorts, which is the UK's biggest short film competition dedicated to seeking out the very best undiscovered filmmakers. This was the greatest channel I found, as unlike the other wide variety of short films put on YouTube that were most likely made for fun, there is more thought put into these ones, as the directors and actors are seriously dedicated and the cinematography is to high standards. Using the internet has given me wide access to many short films individuals have produced. Putting your videos also on the wide net is a good way of advertising and showing off your film so people all over the world can view them and be inspired. Dafont was a website I used that let you download different fonts. I much preferred this as there was more varying choice rather than having a limited selection that did not fit your genre. Here I used a font called Basic Scratches. This is used in the title of my production as it represents the relationship between the characters deteriorating. Throughout the blogging process, I used WordPress. This site is a great way of documenting screenshots so you can not only explain to others your processes, but give them a visual insight too by pictures. Firstly, during the construction, I had to produce an animatic. This is a simple process, exactly the same as last year. I took my storyboard from having drawn out each individual scene, with extra information about what type of shot it is and the dialogue included, and took photos of each one in the correct order and placed them in the software iMovie. iMovie is again another simple process which simply allows you to digitally edit your storyboard photographs with the use of transitions, adding a voiceover or a dialogue and changing the duration of each shot. Then, to construct my ideas further, I use ScriptBuddy, which allows me to produce professional-looking scripts with a clear structure. I found this website really useful as this final product would not be able to be produced on a basic software like Microsoft Word. When filming, I use my own camera, which is the Canon EOS 100. I much preferred using my own camera. It has allowed me to have free use of it whenever I need without having to borrow one. This camera allows you to film in HD and is very good quality. However, I came over the issue that because it allowed you to film in HD, you had to have a very large memory card space. Mine was too small, so when recording it would usually stop filming after 20 seconds, which was a very big problem as it made me stop filming halfway through a really important scene and then having to go back to where it stopped, which I wasn't too sure, and having to film it all again, and it just wasn't very ideal. But along with this, I used a tripod in some scenes so the camera is not wonky. This is something that I did not use when filming my opening sequence last year, and many of my scenes were wonky and shaky. When editing all of my footage, I used Final Cut Express. This is the same software I used again last year, so I knew where everything was without any fuss. To get a professional outlook, Final Cut is much useful software than iMovie, as it allows you to focus on in-depth happenings that cannot be focused on in a basic program. For example, you can study each second of your footage to crop and cut to the best point possible. I used Final Cut to the best of my ability by trying out different effects and colour tones, which has given my short film a more arty and edgy feeling. In my animatic, I only had a voiceover, and I was debating for a long period of time whether or not to include a score. However, when constructing had finished of placing my voiceover along with the footage, I found there to be many moments of unwanted silence. So I used GarageBand to produce a loop of already made piano melodies and exported it to Final Cut, where I let it play throughout all of my film. For my film poster, I did not use a screenshot from my footage as I wanted it to be more focused on the daughter, who is looking lost with herself. So I took my image in the studio with a white background, as I wanted all the focus to be on her. For the next steps, I used the image in Photoshop, From being an A2 photography student, I have experience of using Photoshop, so this was not an issue. I wanted my poster to look simple but effective. A software that I've just been introduced to for the first time was Adobe InDesign. At first it was very hard to get to grips with, but after playing around with it for a while I started to understand, and really it was basic knowledge. The strength I really liked with this software is that it allowed me to get my columns for my film review all in line, something that is definitely needed when writing a professional looking film review.